Let me start by asking you a simple and often an underemphasized question. What is life? Numerous dictionaries define life as an existence of a single individual human being. So is life only about our existence, or does life have a much larger meaning? We may not realize what life brings us at this present moment of time, but as our journey moves forward, we'll surely understand its foremost principle. Not to be someone, but rather to be yourself. Let me tell you about an event that transformed my perspective on how I view life. A few years ago, when I was in 4th grade, our family visited an exhibition center called the Dark Valley. Engaging the participants for 1 hour, the Dark Valley offers a unique experience to an invisible world. Yes, you heard it right, an invisible world, a world of complete darkness, where you get an opportunity to find your way through touch and sound only. So out of a curiosity of a young child, I was so eager to encounter what a 7-year-old would call it as an obstacle course. So with walking sticks that they have provided, we ventured into the land of eternal darkness. A few moments later, all the confidence and belief that I had felt before entering dissolved into a burst of panic once I entered the hall. To be deprived of our key sense sight that provides us with the most information was beyond what a 7-year-old could ever hope for. Walking in the dark, not knowing where you are or what you are doing, can be a very daunting experience at any age, and being at the age of 7 makes it 10 times more scarier. So I held on to my parents for reassurance as darkness loomed over my thoughts. That was when a voice in the distance glided across the room. It was from our guide, who presented himself to lead us in this journey. A journey that none of us had ever taken, but a journey that none of us will never ever forget. Even though we couldn't see him, his voice was able to spark courage and confidence that we had lost during the starting few moments of our journey. Erasing the fear that was calling inside us, he taught us to identify fruits and vegetables through touch and smell. He asked us to comprehend the symbols inscribed on the board. I could still remember brushing my hands over bumps and dents as my fingers glided across it. And later our guide questioned me, "Allan, what are those symbols that you recognized?" He asked us to follow his voice. His voice was our only path, our only road ahead. So we followed him toward what seems to be bridges and past whiskers of water streams. Before we concluded our journey, our guide brought us to a restaurant, or at least I think it was a restaurant. Fiddling with plates and using my newfound knowledge of sensing the dark, I was able to identify kitchen utensils and other kitchen appliances. Our journey then came to an end. After that, I asked my mom, who was he? Who was that guy that was able to spark courage among us? Who was that guy that was very friendly to a 7-year-old kid? I couldn't see him, nor he couldn't see me. Who was he? Later, we learned that the voice that assured us during our uncertainties, the hands that taught us to acknowledge and embrace the unknown, the footsteps that guided our paths was of a person the society frequently tends to marginalize, who our society deems as unfit and marks them with a label as disabled and blind. Yes, the guy that assured us during our journey was the person who was unable to see. In our society, we repeatedly consider people who are visually imperative as a minority who often depend on us to fulfill their needs. But when we are presented with an opportunity to step into their world, we are indeed the inferior, the ones who criticize us with all that we have, the ones who struggle to lead a good life with all that we possess. He was able to give confidence and spark courage, yet was presented with skepticism and doubtfulness of the wider world. How often have they lived a life of dismay? How often have we done too little? How often have we looked upon our mistakes? If he is able to live a life with such pleasure and happiness while never ever repenting about what he lacks, aren't he the perfect example of leading us as a journey of leading a good life? That leaves us with one final question, one final thought. Aren't the disabled truly the ones who are able? That 1 hour of blindness truly opened eyes to see the things that truly mattered, opened eyes to see the people that we often tend to ignore. The road that lies ahead of us may not be easy. It never did, it never had. There may be obstacles, barriers, hiccups along our way. There may be times where each of us may possibly think that he or she is alone. But you're not alone. We are in this journey together. And if we have made it this far, why should we ever think of going back now? Life is a canvas for us to paint, a story for us to write, and a stage for us to perform. So cherish it, embrace it, and make the most out of it. And remember, the only obstacles in your life are the ones that you put on yourselves. At the end of the day, the only religion to mankind is and have always has been hope. Regardless of age, gender, cultural traditions, backgrounds, we all aspire to make this world a better place. And let that celebration of that triumph starts here. Thank you. I'm Allan Biju Gregory.